Great. And are you planning on asking me questions in the middle as we discussed? Because that might be.
Would you like that?
Yeah, I would, very much so.
Okay, then give me 1 second.
Thank you.
Yeah. You may hear the dog in the background. Sorry about that.
Totally fine.
I'm working from home today.
Both of us are remote today. We're usually in the office together, so.
Yes, I'm also working from home today.
Lita has decided that someone is by the door or walking past the house that she doesn't like.
Squirrel!
We actually
pretty much. Pretty much. All right, give me 1 second. Okay, I am ready for you.
Great. Hey, so I have purchased approximately 1 billion different educational kit toys over the years for my kids because I, much like you, want them to survive the robot apocalypse. But I'm going to say that about 99% of those end up sitting kind of pristine and unopened at the bottom of our closet. And that's because they're just not fun. But you know what's really, really fun? Race cars. Whether you are 6 or 16 or 60, there is just this enduring fascination with things on wheels that go really fast. And when you take a car to the playground, right, you get totally swarmed by excited kids begging for a turn. And I thought, well, what if you could combine that fun and excitement of a radio-controlled or RC car with those critical STEM skills that we want our kids to know and that they're going to need for the future. And so I built RaceYa to do just that. Our first product is a customizable, programmable radio control car that gets kids excited about science and engineering.
It's awesome. I would love to hear how your product works. Like, first, I just want to say that I think that it sounds super exciting. I think that who doesn't want to build a race car? I know I do, even though I'm not the target demographic, but I'd love to hear more about how the actual product works.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, like I said, the kit toys, when you have to build them yourself and you do all this kind of homework before you get to play, we really wanted to avoid that. What we want, because that's what kids want, is for it to work right out of the box. So when you buy a RaceYa car, you open up the box and you just start to play. You don't do an hour of complicated building stuff. You just start racing it around. But then every kid we have ever shown this to comes back and says, well, what else can it do, right? They want to do more. They want to push their cars further. So we give them a set of challenges to inspire them to modify their car. They can change the wheels and the shocks and the gears and actually ultimately even the source code. So while they're jumping off ramps and going off-roading and, you know, taking their car on crazy journeys, we also have the opportunity to explain to them the science behind what they're doing, right? Because the wheels, that's friction, and the gears are torque, and, you know, there's kinetic energy kind of all over the place. And that radically changes how kids interact with these kind of science concepts, because when you can feel the pull of the car and watch it slide down a ramp because it doesn't have enough friction, that'll fundamentally change how kids understand science and design in a way that, you know, clicking through an app is just not going to give them.
Right. So I know there are a lot of STEM toys on the market. It's a huge market right now, especially when you think about there's a big push for STEM in schools. And when you think about just how quickly the tech industry is evolving and how competitive it is, this is such a crucial thing for kids to be learning at such a young age. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about who you think your competition is.
Sure. So we are in competition with some of those kit toys because they address that same need of parents wanting to get their kids excited about science. But a lot of them require kids to have a level of abstract thinking that most children don't have. So most children just want toys to play with, and some children are already born engineers. But most children don't have the ability to look at a pile of little bits or stuff or, you know, contraptions that they've never seen before and create something amazing. But what they can do is look at a race car and know immediately that it's working or not working. And because they know immediately whether it's working or not working, they are then excited to go in and fix it and to go in and try and make it work. So for us, the competition is a little bit the people who are building one and done toys for your kids, right? Which is on the opposite end of the spectrum. And actually some of these kit toys are that too, where a one and done toy, every parent has seen, right? You spend a ton of money, you buy your kid something really amazing that looks so cool from the outside. The kid plays with it one time and then they never play with it again because there's never any reason for them to go back, or the toy itself is not that satisfying or not that engaging.
Mm-hmm.
For us, you know, when you are 6 years old, you're playing with the car as a car and you're taking the wheels off and you're shifting the gears out and you're exploring, you know, with the shock absorbers and that sort of thing. And maybe you're putting stickers on. But then when you're 16, you start getting into, oh, wait, I can program this thing and I can add sensors to this thing and I can start, you know, making my own autonomous vehicle with this car that I've had since I was 6 years old. So we're really trying to get kids a toy that they can use over many, many years that will grow with them. And they're kind of leveling up in their skills along the way as well.
Right. One of the things that I also really love about your product that I think is a bit of a distinction between other STEM products out there is that yours is very gender neutral. So whether you're a boy or a girl, like everybody's drawn to race cars. So I love that that's the route that you chose to get kids excited about STEM all the way into teens and adulthoods, because I just think so many people can relate to that. I'd love to hear a little bit more about your revenue model and how you plan to make money, because ultimately, you know, if an investor is going to invest in you, they want to know how they're going to get that big return.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for calling out the fact that we're gender neutral, because it's really important to us and to me that my daughter loves this as much as my son does. And we've seen it on playgrounds all the time where actually the girls fight for it harder and play with it longer on the playgrounds than the boys do. And that's been really fascinating to watch.
I love that.
In terms of, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but in terms of revenue, you know, we're really fortunate that we have an object that people want to buy, so we will sell it to them. So unlike a lot of, you know, software companies or strictly software companies, you know, we start with an object that people will purchase. But where the growth opportunity really comes in is that because RaceYa goes from an offline product to an online engagement, that online engagement with STEM content, with additional challenges, with open source programming is also an opportunity to constantly re-engage with your community and to develop more and more engaging, in-depth, premium content where you're working with the car at home, but then you're also continually coming back to us at RaceYa.com to do more things with your car, to learn more things, and to explore new opportunities. And so that content plus object model, right, this online offline model, is where we see a lot of the big growth opportunity, because there's potential subscription options there if we wanted to do subscription, you know, subscription-based content as in addition to buying the car. We also have a lot of opportunities to do educational partnerships, because people like Pearson are partnering. They're a big educational textbook publisher. They're partnering with some of these educational toys to bring this thinking into the classroom. There are tons of schools and science camps and after-school programs and summer camps that need new programming for their kids, that are giving the kids the exciting, fun things they want to play with, but also serving an educational need. And we definitely fit into those categories. So in addition to the direct-to-consumer model of, you know, selling parents the toy that they want for their kids, we can also sell schools the kind of expansion programs that they're looking for, and summer camps the kind of exciting, engaging opportunities that they're looking for.
That's great. So I'd love to hear about the traction that you have been having so far. I know that, you know, you're definitely early stage with the product, but I also know that you have done a bunch of user testing with kids, and I'd like to hear about some of that traction that you're having, not just with the kids, but also with potential partners.
Yeah, so we as you said, we've done a lot of testing, because the difference between hardware and software is with hardware, you really get, one or two shots to get it right. And it's really important to us that we make a toy that doesn't only satisfy our needs, but really satisfies the needs of the kids and parents. So we have taken this to schools and, like I said, science camps, and we do playgrounds all the time, because they are the most brutal testing ground for any new products, because kids will tell you exactly what they think of it. And so when we make a new thing, we bring it out to the schools and the playgrounds, and the kids will say, I love this, I hated that, right? So we've built on that as part of our model for how the product works. The whole way that we've designed the play pattern with the car has come directly from the kids. We have been really lucky is that every time we go out into the world, we get a lot of good feedback from people and also from the press, right? So we were on Good Morning America as a top tech toy for girls. We've won design innovation awards because the design itself is really new and innovative. We are either in the middle of or launching or end of a Kickstarter. So we'll figure out what we're going to say about that, which is going to, push us out into the world a bit further. And then we have talked to multiple potential education partners who would definitely be more on the bringing this toy and this experience to a very broad audience across the nation very quickly. I can't discuss who those partners are right now because we're still in discussions, but we've had a lot of interest from some of these educational institutions to bring this out to as many kids as possible.
Great. Why do you think that you all are the team to bring this product to market and make $1 billion off of it?
Because we want to be a billionaire. No, that's not what I mean. Because I want to get rich slow, really slow. No, it's because I have an incredible team. And actually, I've been very, very fortunate that my team has come to me because we've been out into the world and sort of showing this off and talking at events and, doing presentations. I get people who come up to me and say, oh my God, I love this. Can I work with you? And two of the best people on my team have come to me that way. And they are both mad radio control car enthusiasts. They've played with them ever since they were little kids, and they're so excited to be playing with them as adults. But they also happen to be phenomenally good at building hardware, both from a software, sort of embedded software perspective, and from a mechanical engineering and manufacturing design engineering perspective. So they have the skills to make the product, the physical product, really just phenomenal and actually get it delivered. And then my role in all of this, apart from the fact that this was my idea, is that I'm an anthropologist by training. So my job has always been to watch people and understand them and try and see, why are you making the choices that you're making? Why are you doing the things you're doing? And how are the elements around you influencing those choices? And if you look at any good product design firm like IDEO and Frog, they have anthropologists on staff, because we're the people who understand what makes a product really great and really serve the needs. So I think our team is sort of uniquely qualified to bring together the products that kids want with the kind of intensity that parents are looking for.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the Women's Startup Challenge podcast today. It was just amazing hearing about the incredible work that RaceYa is doing. And
thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. All right, Justin, what were we at?
So we are absolutely going to have to cut some things because we are at 12 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, I need to make those answers way shorter.
Yeah, this was what I was afraid of with this format, is that because it's so—
Editing is your friend.
Because it's so conversational, that this is what was going to happen. So I'm going to send you this recording. I think
Thank you.
Did great. It was very conversational, very easy to understand, but you're going to have to tighten up your responses. And what I'll do is, the questions that we're going to be asking you, and these are the questions like we really want to get from you, but
okay.
Adam may have like additional questions. So I want to like save time, like
sure.
his follow-up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to like kind of try and break out the time a little bit. And, once you're past your opening pitch, which I think was pretty short and pretty pithy, then we'll have to figure out like, okay, so for each question, I have about like 40 seconds to respond. And then you'll have to kind of like work back from that.
Okay.
In your
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just to give you, I took a few notes during this, so I want to provide you with that feedback. You can cut back in the first sentence, and I know it was just like getting used to speaking and getting into your pitch, but you said kid a couple of times, so just saying that once is more than enough.
Sure.
And I wouldn't say that the other toys aren't fun, because I think that they probably are fun, which is why they got them, but that they get old or boring, which you said again later when you said that they're one and done toys. So instead of mentioning it more than once in your first sentence, just saying like they're one and done toys, like they get stale after a few times of playing with them, and they get thrown under the bed or whatever it is. Your intro, your like elevator pitch was 1 minute and 8 seconds.
Oh, that's still too long.
To give you a sense of what that was. I don't think it's necessarily.
No, that's not bad. That's pretty good.
I think it's actually good.
Okay.
You share so much in that there's a lot to build from. So that's a really great, we told people 1 to 2 minutes for that first intro. 1 minute and 8 seconds is excellent.
Oh, okay, good. Then I won't trust you.
Yeah, no, that was fine. I just wanted to give you a sense of where you were at with that.
Thank you.
Then
Thank
as
you.
for a mic, are you going to be using a different mic than what you're using now?
Yeah, I'm actually going to be in a recording booth with a USB mic.
Okay, awesome. Because you do sound echoey, so I wanted to make sure it'd be easier to hear you.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and then your one question I had. So you talk about the friction with the wheels and the science behind this race car, and how no one else is really doing this. But who is this? Do you have to have hands-on parents for this to work?
No, you don't. That's kind of the point, is that I hate toys where I have to stand over my kid and make them and like help them do it. And you're right, that's a really good thing to mention, because we don't want parents to have to help.
Okay, so I got the sense when like, oh yeah, they'll understand that there's like friction with the wheels and like all of those different science aspects, but I don't necessarily think that the kids think about, because they're just like, this is awesome and it moves really fast. So I guess my question, and I got caught up in it a little bit while you were talking about that part specifically, was who helps them understand the science behind that? Or is it just that they understand that it works and then the science clicks a little bit?
That would be an awesome question for you guys to ask me, because then I could address it directly. Because basically the way it works is that in the box there is a booklet that has all of these like, hey, try this, hey, try that, kind of choose your own adventure activities for the kids to do. And within that booklet at each activity is, here's what's happening, here's what you're seeing, here's what's going on when you're trying to do this. Right?
Yeah, so my question was, does it come with a video? What is it that helps them grasp that science piece?
Yeah. So in the box is a booklet, and then out of the box is back online, where there's curated STEM content that really talks about what friction is, and then content that we're going to produce ourselves that basically mimics what's in the booklet, but in more animated video format, and then can continue to do more explanatory videos from there.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
And then
I don't want parents to know any of this stuff. I mean, they can know it if they want to, but I don't want them to have to.
Okay. I wouldn't necessarily mention the partners that you can't talk about if that's time, and we don't need to skip that time for you not to tell us something that you can't tell us.
Yeah.
But I do love that you talked about the kids being the most brutal critique, and how that was a really important part of iterating your product. Definitely don't cut that piece.
Okay. That's good to know. I love talking about that, because it is true.
One thing just related to that, when I brought up the competition, which is around the time that you talked about the kids being, not the competition, but the partnerships, exactly, was I would not talk about like what other companies have done and that's been successful. I would talk about your plans, and I sent that to you in the notes as well. So like, we plan to approach partners, education partners like Pearson or whoever that you want to mention, or if you don't want to mention Pearson specifically, but we plan to approach very large education partners We plan to sell directly to major retailers like Amazon.
Got it.
So get specific about like what you're doing, not what others have done. You can say like others have taken similar approaches and it's been really successful, like kind of like after you say your plan. But I think it's important that people know like you have a solid plan.
Yes.
Got it. Yes, that makes much more sense.
But otherwise, the conversational piece was great. You laughing while you were explaining things was just like obviously how you talk, and that's super natural and is going to be really fantastic for everything you're explaining on the podcast as well.
Cool. I have a random question for you guys. First of all, thank you for all of this. This is hugely helpful. And if nothing else, like just this whole pitch prep part of the podcast is like worth its weight in gold. So thank you for that.
Good.
Yeah, no, this is great because I've been doing pitches for a while and I hate them and they're always awful. And it's in part because I don't have people sitting down and saying, do this, not that, do this, not that. When asked this, say that, like that's huge. So thank you. That's really great. The other question that I was going to ask, I know what it was, is that because I suspect that other people will be as kind of nervous and jumpy as I was, how much time do we have before the recording to just chat for a second, say hi, so, like not recording it, but just warming up a little.
Yeah, I'd say you'll have like 1 minute-ish.
Unfortunately,
it's really tight timing.
It's a really tight time slot to get everybody in and like accommodate all of the time zones. We have 3 different continents, so it makes it a little bit more tricky.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just thinking because if you really want like more conversational and more personality, if people are relaxed going in.
I know. It's hard, but the good thing is that we're practicing.
You are, which is amazing.
We have the flow down. I am going to be asking a bunch of the questions. So like you're kind of like used to me and my voice. And we are going to be doing, a little bit of editing. So our goal is to make sure that, you all sound great. But we're not going to be doing.
Are you there?
Yep. I'm sorry.
We're here. We're not going to be doing extensive editing, which is why I want you to really focus on shortening snippets. Because like if we have to go in and do a lot of editing, like I don't want to edit out good stuff that you said just because like we don't have the time allotted to you to do that. So that's why I really want you to get as much as like you can in those like whatever seconds we get
to the point.
Exactly. Just get to the point. Get to the point on the partnerships, how the product works, the competition. You just have to, you said all the right things. You just have to get to it faster.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. That's hugely helpful. And honestly, going through the questions, initially really, really helps. So thank you for that.
Good. No, I'm glad. Great. Any other questions for us?
Nope. Just as soon as you let me know when we think the approximate launch date is going to be, then I'll tweak whatever I say about the sort of forward plans.
Perfect.
And then we'll go from there, and hopefully it will be phenomenal for all involved.
Yes. Yeah. When is your Kickstarter launching again?
May 15th.
May 15th. Okay. Great.
And I'm totally ready and not at all terrified.
Great. I love it. I love the toy. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's a fantastic toy. It's an amazing product.
Thank you. I really, really like it, which helps because I have to do it every day. But
I want one. I want to play with it.
I know.
We can make that happen for you for the price of whatever it is we set on Kickstarter. Again, thank you both so much. I really appreciate you taking the time.
All right. Yeah. We'll send you a copy of the video.
Brilliant. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.